Hey Taurus, how have you been? How have you been holding up? How has life been treating you? I'm genuinely asking, so you are more than welcome to leave that response in the comment section. However, if not, that's perfectly fine. We'll just continue to communicate telepathically. All right, Taurus, I would like to welcome you to your 3 month horoscope involving January, February, and March of 2026. I'm going to split this horoscope into challenges and opportunities, and I'm going to start with the challenges so we can end the horoscope on a positive note. And the key thing I want you to remember, Taurus, is that the most accurate astrology is your personal astrology. So, whilst you're listening to this, only take what resonates and leave the rest, as this is a general interpretation. And with that said, let's get into your potential challenges. So, when we get to about halfway into the month of January, on the 17th, Venus will kick things off by entering the sign of Aquarius. And within just a few days, the Sun, Mercury, and Mars will all have joined her in the sign of Aquarius, and they will all be forming a square aspect to your sign. So, what this means for you is that you may see the manifestation of challenges within your relationships. It could be that somebody is trying to control you or make decisions for you. Or for some of you, Taurus, you may be the person, you may be the one who's crossing the line, trying to tell someone what's best for them, which is just not going to fly around this time, Taurus. To be honest, anything that infringes on another person's freedom is just not going to fare well. Another challenge that could manifest around this time is a triggering of your insecurities, right? The events that are happening around you, the situations that you find yourself in could trigger those insecurities, and you will have to confront the origin of the insecurity if you wish to completely overcome it. But if you try to suppress it, try to ignore it, or pretend it's not there, that insecurity will be back at a different time during a different season to torment you once again. So, really, it's your choice, Taurus. Do with that what you will. And another challenge could be that you're overthinking a situation or worrying about the future or a particular future outcome. So, in order to deal with that, I would suggest that you rely on whatever your stress relieving methods are. Get into some meditation practices or do anything that helps calm you down and brings your mind to the present moment. And there could also be challenges with communication. All right, perhaps you're being misunderstood when you're trying to make your point. Or another thing that could happen is that you're not making any points, right? You're not saying anything. You're kind of keeping your thoughts, opinions, and ideas to yourself. And just you're not in the mood for talking right now. I will say though, Taurus, you might kick yourself later for this if you choose to withhold opinions or withhold your perspective on things. As certain situations play out, you may later on feel like, oh man, I should have said something. I had this idea back when this was happening and I just didn't say anything, because I thought maybe it would be better for the situation for me to be quiet. But now I realize that, man, I should have said something way back when. All right. Obviously, it's never too late, to speak your mind, to share an opinion, to advise someone or to solve a problem. But you'll have to kind of use your intuition around this time. It's a to speak or not to speak, and that is the question type of thing. All right. And then another potential manifestation to keep an eye out for is having conflict with males or authority figures in your life. All right. I want to re emphasize that you need to pick your battles. All right. You need to use your intuition with whether or not that moment is the right moment for you to be heard and for you to speak. Taurus, don't overestimate your position or your influence right now. All right, with all these planets in the sign of Aquarius, Yes, we want to rebel, and we want to fight for freedom, but there's a right way to do it without burning bridges and, without setting yourself on fire, to be honest. So I feel like right now, with all these planets in Aquarius, it may be best for you to work on your personal growth and your personal goals, all right? Where other people are involved, try to be more of an observer, try to take notes, listen to other people, be more collaborative and diplomatic. And then the time to let people know what the business really is and what you really think and where you really stand, that time is going to come. All right, don't try to prove yourself right now. Don't forcefully try to get something to work or forcefully, go out of your way trying to seek validation. I feel like it's going to backfire right now. So it's best for you to just keep your head down, play your part, improve the self, and keep in mind that this energy is temporary. All right, you'll be able to let your freak flag fly a little bit later on. Don't allow this Aquarian energy and influence to make you a rebel without a cause. Okay, so you really, really want to be in tune with who you truly are and what your truth is and what impression you want to last on the people around you. Okay, then moving on to the following month, the 1st of February brings us a full moon in the sign of Leo. So, an important thing that I want you to note, Taurus, is that when it comes to full moon and new moon energy, I want you to give the events about a week prior or a week after for them to fully play out. Don't just focus on the actual day of the full moon or of the new moon. All right. You can give or take a week to observe what may come up or what may manifest for you. But, anyways, the full moon in Leo forms a square aspect to your sign. So, the challenges that could manifest from this energy is that you may find yourself experiencing heightened emotions. Like, this will have you all the way in your feelings, Taurus. So, do make sure that you have a healthy outlet for processing your emotions in order to avoid outbursts. On the upside, however, this full moon could mark the end of a difficult situation for some of you. So that's nice, right? That's something to look forward to. But if that's not the case for you, then you need to be willing to just sit in that discomfort and see what this full moon reveals for you. What does it illuminate? And what clarity do you have around this full moon involving a difficult situation? Another important moon that I want you to look out for, Taurus, is the new moon that'll be in the sign of Aquarius on the 17th of February. All right, this is actually a solar eclipse, which means that destiny, karma, and fate are in the mix for this one. It's a big one, all right? So, especially if you are Taurus rising, I want you to look to your career, your status, your aspirations, look to your relationship with authority, look to your relationship with males, and consider if you're noticing the fated changes that are starting to take place. Are you able to see what you're about to let go of or what you're about to let into your life? The nodes of destiny are going to change signs in a few months, all right, entering the sign of Aquarius and Leo. So where we have Aquarius, that's where we have the North Node, or where we will have the North Node. And this is where new things will be coming in, all right? And if you are Taurus rising, this is likely going to be happening in your 10th house of career, of status, of your aspirations and accomplishments in life. Even it can affect significant males in your life. Maybe this could be a time where you attract a life partner or just an important male in life. Could be a business partner that you attract that happens to be male, or if they are female, they could just carry a lot of masculine energy, all right? Or maybe you're going in a direction that is more unique to your path, right? Career wise, maybe you're currently not in the career that is your truth, right? You're in a career of survival, you're in a career for paying bills. And when the nodes of destiny enter, the sign of Aquarius, that might push you, that could nudge you more in the direction of your unique path and of your true north. But we're not there yet, all right? This is only the beginning. So right now you could be getting clues as to what exactly the transformation is going to be for you. So do look out for that and do reflect during this new moon in the sign of Aquarius. I want you to also remember to exercise patience with these changes. All right, it could take a while for these changes to be in full effect and to be fully integrated into your life and for you to be in your new reality. All right, so if you've been desperate for a change of power dynamics or a change in career, or you want to have different responsibilities, maybe you want a particular promotion, do be patient. All right, this new moon is just a snippet of what may come. That's why you need to be alert. And another thing, I'm going to put the dates of the planets changing signs in the comments section. So if you want to know how long a planet is going to be in a particular sign, do check the comment section. The information will be there. Alrighty, so that's all I have seen for the challenges that are coming up for you within these 3 months. So let's get into your potential opportunities. So, the beginning of the year starts out with a full moon in the sign of Cancer, and it will be taking place on the 3rd of January. But remember what I said with full moons and new moons, give it a week prior and a week after for the events and outcomes to fully play out. But anyway, this full moon in Cancer can bring about opportunities for growth that could be related to learning pursuits or skills development. And some of you Taurus, you may be having clarity around this full moon to make a particular idea finally work. Maybe you've had difficulty with getting this idea to work for a very long time, and this full moon could bring about those answers that you've been seeking, that way forward that you've been seeking. And the same goes for problem solving as well. If there has been a problem or an issue that you've been tackling for a very, very long time, you may now have an answer. You may now have a solution to whatever that problem or that issue was. It could also manifest in relationships as well, how you relate to people. It could be maybe something that was a misunderstanding, maybe on your part or on the part of someone else. But now there may be some understanding of what the other person's experience may have been, right? There's a little bit more compassion and seeing through your intuitive eye rather than with a logical mind. And then for some of you Taurus, there could be some wonderful news coming your way, or you could be receiving some much needed information that's going to help you move forward in your given situation. Others of you could be making some valuable connections with others as a result of making a good impression on them previously, all right, way back when. And then as we move into the month of February, the personal planets, Mercury and Venus, will be changing signs, going from Aquarius into Pisces. And this is a more enjoyable energy for you, Taurus, because it forms a sextile aspect to your sign. Remember, I will be putting the transits of the planets in the comment section if you want to know when exactly the planets are changing signs, all right? So with these two planets, Mercury and Mars in Pisces, you may notice opportunities for collaboration, networking, or even receiving social support or receiving more engagement in general are now increasing, right? You may not even be doing too much to get the attention, to get the support, or to get the validation. It just seems to be coming your way. Remember that Pisces is a receptive energy. It's passive, all right? The energy is feminine. So it is a time for receiving. And Venus, by the way, is exalted in Pisces. She loves being in this romantic, idealistic sign. So she can bring about a whole lot of benefits your way if you are receptive, and also if you have put the work in previously. You know how when we make effort towards certain things and we don't see the results in the moment, but like months later, weeks later, in some cases, years later, all of a sudden, these opportunities start coming our way. This could be the same kind of manifestation that you may be noticing in your life around this time. So then we get to about halfway into the month of February, and this is when the sun will enter the sign of Pisces as well. This will be on the 18th, and this will mark the beginning of Pisces season. So generally, Taurus, Pisces season should be good to you. This should be a time when good things are happening. If this is not the case, if every year around Pisces season you just seem to be having a tough time, then it could be in accordance with your rising sign. So do check what your rising sign is. But if you are Taurus rising, I'm pretty sure your Pisces season always comes bearing gifts. All right. And these good vibes, this good energy is as a result of the sun shining beautifully on your sun or on your ascendant. And this boosts your vitality. It gives you a major boost in confidence as well. So you're more you feel good about expressing yourself, right? You feel good about being seen. And it could also be a time where you're just getting more attention, right? And this is a time also when you're making a good impression on others just by being there, just by being present. Remember, Pisces energy is very relaxed, you know. It's a my presence is a gift type of energy, right? You don't need to flex, you don't need to try too hard, you don't need to prove anything. Just being present and being yourself is really what is magnetic when the Pisces energy is active. So do use that to your advantage, Taurus. Plus, I know that you don't like, excessive talking or just excessively attending events that you feel like are not valuable to you and that are not a good investment of your time or of your presence. So I feel like you and Pisces just get along very well, but do correct me if I'm wrong. So you will have around this time more energy to direct towards your personal goals. All right. You're likely to be more optimistic. So during this time, your optimism can make life go down a little easier, a little smoother, right? Especially if you've been having a tough time previously. This Pisces energy might lighten the load a little bit, but really, really, it depends on the rest of your chart, all right? Pisces energy can make things a little bit worse, right? Because it's a little bit dark and mysterious, not dark in a bad way, not dark in like an evil, heavy kind of way, but the mystery, the not knowing, and the surrender of it all can make life a little heavier, depending also on the planets that will be in Pisces around this time, or your Pisces placements in your natal chart. It really depends on your personal astrology. So please do have a look at that. Then we can get into the month of March, where the planet of action, Mars, will also be entering the sign of Pisces, also forming a sextile aspect to your sign. So this energy, Taurus, is great for putting things to bed, all right? Whether you're putting the final touches on a project or you're concluding unfinished business, Mars in Pisces is the energy you want to work with. It would also be a good idea for you to work on tasks or activities that are more in alignment with your imagination and creativity. Don't be afraid to share this side of yourself, Taurus. You never know what could result from it. You never know who's watching. You never know who's sitting on an opportunity, waiting to give it to somebody, but they just don't know that you have this creative side. They just don't know that you have this imagination and you have these ideas and your mind works in this particular way, or that you have skills that nobody knows about. Do share them. Obviously use your intuition with choosing the appropriate time and appropriate place to express this, but definitely engage yourself in creative and imaginative tasks. All right, you will also feel good within, and you'll feel good about yourself. And then mid-March brings us a new moon in the sign of Pisces on the 19th. So this means that new people, new insights, new opportunities may be coming your way, as well as an opportunity to end something that'll lead to greener pastures later on. So keep your eye out for that. And then just as March ends, Venus enters your sign, or rather her sign, Taurus, on the 30th. So while she is here with you, your ability to attract your desires increases. So you know what that means, Taurus. Go ahead and manifest, say those prayers, and affirm those affirmations. Whichever one you believe in, do that as much as possible while Venus is in Taurus. And even if it isn't instant, your heart's desires will surely materialize. You just need to focus on planting those seeds for now. All right. Remember, Taurus is an earth sign. I don't need to tell you that. Things take time when earth is involved. It's the linear time frame. It's the work hard, put in that work. Right now, the work is in prayer, manifestation, and affirmation. All right. But that doesn't mean that you don't do your part. You don't do the physical part. All right. You do need to put in the effort along with your prayer, along with your affirmation. All right. But it is surely to materialize if you're ticking all the boxes. And with that said, tenacious Taurus, that is your horoscope for these 3 months. You are more than welcome to download or save this audio so you can come back to it later if needed. I would appreciate a like or a comment if you found this information helpful in any way. And if you would like to reach out to me personally, my contact methods are listed in the description below. Thank you so much for listening, and we will catch up in 3 months' time. Hey Virgo, how are you doing? How's life been treating you? How are you holding up in general? Like, I'm genuinely asking. So you are more than welcome to leave that response in the comment section if you feel moved to. But if not, that's okay. We'll just continue to communicate telepathically. So Virgo, I would like to welcome you to your 3-month horoscope, including the month of January, February, and March of 2026. I'm going to split this horoscope into challenges and opportunities, and I'm going to start with the challenges so we can end the horoscope on a positive note. Now, the key thing to remember here, Virgo, is that the most accurate astrology is your personal astrology, and this is a general interpretation. So while you're listening to this, only take what resonates and leave the rest. And with that said, let's get into your potential challenges. So, starting off with the month of January, I think you can breathe a sigh of relief for this month, Virgo. I'm not seeing any imminent threats coming your way. However, do verify this with your birth chart, especially if you're not Virgo rising. All right, so if you're Virgo moon, Virgo sun with a different type of rising, just check your birth chart because that can affect the type of month that you are going to have. And if you happen to be a fire sign rising, I have put out the horoscopes for those signs, so you can check that out on my channel. Unfortunately, the air sign risings and the water signs are not out yet. Sorry about that, but yeah, make do with what you have, right? So then we get into the month of February. So this month may be a completely different story for you, Virgo. It's like there's a tug of war coming into your life. And the reason being is that Mercury, Venus, and the Sun will all be forming opposition aspects to your sign when they enter the sign of Pisces on different days throughout the month. Now, I have listed the days in which the different planets will be in the different signs. So if you want to know the specific timeline for that, check the comment section. I have listed the dates there. So the potential events that you may see manifesting as a result of these oppositions are the rising up of relationship issues or differences that have been bubbling below the surface. This is actually a good time to talk things through and work things out, Virgo. However, the key to peace is humbling your ego, all right? You need to be empathetic and be willing to put yourself in the other person's shoes. Try to see things from their perspective. So you'll realize that you're more likely to resolve things if you apply that approach. Otherwise, there's just going to be a whole lot of back and forth, each person wanting to be right, wanting to argue their point, which is just going to get you nowhere. And yes, Virgo, I understand. Compromise is a two-way street. This is true. However, in this case, you may need to be the bigger person and lead by example, because if not, I do see tension continuing to be present in whatever relationship dynamic this is for you. And that tension may eventually pull y'all apart. So if you're okay with this relationship ending, then so shall it be. But if it's a relationship worth keeping, then maybe you want to consider approaching things differently. All right. Think of how much you value this person, how much you value having them in their life. Are they contributing positively to who you are and to your life? Or are they really just like a succubus, right? And they're just making life feel like more of a drag, then it's okay to let them go, because there are like eclipses happening, remember, in your sign and in your axis, the Virgo Pisces axis, which is your identity and relationship axis, especially if you're Virgo rising. So yeah, this will be it, right? Whether they get to stay, whether that relationship gets to continue, or this will be the end. So you get to decide, Virgo. And by the way, Virgo, I have to mention that this really does go for your relationship with pretty much anything, right? If you are a Virgo that has been having a tough time letting go of maybe a habit, a lifestyle choice, a job, the place where you live, it could literally be your relationship with anything that isn't healthy, that isn't good for you. This energy in January could actually support you and give you the courage or that extra nudge, that extra push that you need to finally cut the cords that have been difficult for you to walk away from. All right, so this opposition energy is not all bad. But if that's not your life, then another way that this energy, this opposition energy, can manifest is that you may be feeling unseen or unappreciated by others. And this could cause you to be in your feels, right? And you may want to pull back your energy, your presence, and your efforts from those places in which you feel unseen or underappreciated. While some of you could be experiencing creative blocks, it seems like nothing really inspires you or motivates you around this time. All right, so that could be a very challenging energy to navigate and work with, especially at the beginning of the year. Moving on over to the month of March, Mars extends the Pisces energy experience for about 5 weeks, but don't worry, the other planets will have left except for Mercury because it's going retrograde in Pisces. But Mars will also be forming an opposition aspect while he's in Pisces. So you may find yourself being easily triggered by what others are saying or doing, and even by the way certain situations are playing out. And even if you want to like fight for yourself and keep going, it just may seem as though your efforts are not bearing the fruits that you intend. All right. So what does that mean, Virgo? That means you may want to take a different approach to conflict resolution or problem solving around this time. Think, what would a Pisces do? All right. This is like Mars in Pisces. So you need to kind of solve problems like a Pisces, resolve conflict like a Pisces. So if you're not familiar with that, look that up or ask a Pisces in your life. And another important factor for you to keep in mind, Virgo, is that you do need to be attentive with whatever you're busy with during this time, all right? There is a high likelihood that you may get bruised or injured due to being absent-minded or trying to rush through certain tasks. So this could cause a lot of damage or a lot of breakages, hopefully not to your physical body, but it is possible. It could be breakages or damages to property or devices that you are using. So please be attentive and please pace yourself with whatever your tasks are. And then one last thing I want you to be mindful of in March is the new moon that will be happening in the sign of Pisces on March 19th. So an important thing for you to note, Virgo, is that when it comes to full moon and new moon energy, I want you to give it about a week prior and a week after for the events to play out. Don't just focus on the day of the full moon or the new moon to see those manifestations, all right? They can come before and they can come after the actual day. But anyway, this new moon in Pisces could manifest a change that leads you in a new direction than what you previously thought would be the trajectory, right? And because this is not the way you thought things were going to play out, it might trigger feelings of discomfort and fear within you. So this could be a time where you need to really allow yourself to let this thing go and understand that you're making room for something new to come in, something better. Now, it may feel like somewhat of a sacrifice or a loss at the time in the moment, but rest assured, Virgo, it will eventually contribute to your personal growth, all right? I hate to say these words, but do trust the process. I know it sounds like a bumper sticker at this point because everybody says it, but really for this energy, do trust the process, Virgo. So that marks the end of your potential challenges for these 3 months. Now we can have a look at the potential opportunities that could be coming your way within this time frame. So Virgo, there are only 2 aspects coming up that I feel like are worth paying attention to within these entire 3 months, all right? That is the full moon that's going to be in the sign of Cancer coming up on January 3rd. And the other one is a full moon in Virgo coming up on March 3rd. Remember, with the full moon energies, give or take a week to allow the events to fully play out. Okay, so let's start with the full moon in Cancer. All right, this full moon is going to be forming a sextile aspect to your sign, which is fantastic in astrology because sextile means opportunity, if you didn't already know that. So you could see yourself gaining recognition around this time. Maybe people seem to be very supportive of whatever it is that you've got going on. It could also be a time where there is a breakthrough for something that you've been working on for a while. Maybe this thing has been like coasting and coasting and coasting, and now suddenly it's like going through this big boom and you're reaching new heights with it. Others of you could finally be getting that call that changes everything for you. Those of you that have been waiting for that go ahead, that yes, that we want you, Virgo, that call might be coming through right now, all right? It could also be that the people that you needed to push forward with a certain project are suddenly starting to appear for you, and they're starting to, make themselves available. Like their schedules are finally compatible with yours, and you're able to collaborate with them and actually progress with whatever project you are working on. So it is important for you to note, Virgo, that this is more likely to happen for you if you have your sun or ascendant and other planets at 13 degrees of either Virgo or Cancer. Those 2 signs especially, all right? So please do check your birth chart to verify this. And then we can have a look at the full moon happening in March in the sign of Virgo. So this full moon is actually a lunar eclipse. Indicates that destiny has something life-changing in store for you. You may either be completing a major life cycle or you're having a major celebration or manifestation of something that the universe has been cooking for you, right? So be prepared, Virgo, for tears of joy, tears of relief, tears of grief, and tears of gratitude. It really depends on how your chart is structured as to which experience are you going to have. But what we know for sure is that something is coming full circle and it has destiny or karma written all over it. Okay, so to verify with our charts, once again, check to see if you have your sun, ascendant, or moon at or around 12 degrees of Virgo specifically, but also if you have other planets and angles at 12 degrees of Virgo, this is going to be a very significant eclipse for you. And also, if you have planets or angles at 12 degrees of the mutable signs, so Gemini, Sagittarius, and Pisces, you still may be significantly impacted by this lunar eclipse in Virgo. All right. So let me know how you fare with that. And that's that, my virtuous Virgo. This is the most relevant astrology that I see for you within these 3 months. Thank you so much for listening. If you found any of this information helpful, I would appreciate a like or a comment to show that you resonated. And if you would like to get in touch with me personally, my contact methods are listed in the description below. You are more than welcome to download or save this audio so that you can come back to it later if need be. And with that said, I wish you all the best and I will catch up with you in 3 months' time. Hey Capricorn, how are you doing? How have you been? I'm genuinely asking, so you are more than welcome to leave that response in the comment section if you feel like it. But if not, that's okay. We'll just communicate it telepathically. So, Capricorn, I would like to welcome you to your 3 month horoscope, that being January, February, and March of 2026. I'm going to split this horoscope into challenges and opportunities, and I'm going to start with the challenges so we can end the horoscope on a positive note. The key thing for you to remember is that the most accurate astrology is your personal astrology, and this is a general interpretation. So, while you're listening, only take what resonates. And with that said, let's get into your potential challenges. So, Capricorn, you start out the month of January with a full moon opposition to your sign. The full moon will be taking place in your mirror sign, Cancer, and it will be happening on the 3rd of January. So, when it comes to full moons and new moons, I want you to give the energy about a week prior and a week after to play out for you to observe the events and the impact that that moon has on you. Don't just focus on the actual day of the full moon or of the new moon. All right. But anyway, coming back to this opposition energy, for you, it may highlight some relationship issues that have been lingering and need some sort of resolution for the progression of the relationship dynamic. So if it's not in your personal relationships, then it could very well be in your professional relationships. And then on the other hand, some of you may be emotionally triggered. Either someone or something has got you in your feelings, which can push you to have to confront certain things about yourself that you would rather ignore or not admit. I would advise that you do not do that. Do not suppress any emotions, especially around this full moon, because the more you try to ignore and avoid, the more intense the emotional discomfort will be. So, make your life easier, Capricorn. Address those emotions. So, this full moon energy is especially potent for those of you who have planets or angles at or around 13 degrees of Cancer and Capricorn, as well as your sister signs Libra and Aries. So, you will have to check your chart to verify if you are one of the chosen ones. Okay, then we can skip right over the month of February because from what I see, February is going to be good to you. Now, moving into the month of March, we have Venus and the Sun forming a square aspect to your sign when they enter the sign of Aries. So, this square energy can manifest experiences of feeling super lazy or unmotivated to do important work and to attend to your responsibilities. All right. Now, I know that sounds like a myth to a Capricorn, but believe me, it can happen to you as well. Okay. It's more so that right now, you're more interested in things that are, short and quick, instant gratification, and the pleasure meter is really, really high in whatever the activity is. But if it's like something more serious, like taking care of responsibility, taking care of your duties, you may be feeling really lazy and not in the mood to do those things. So as a result of that, you're more likely to lean more towards overindulging in your favorite pleasures and comforts around this time. So Capricorn, I do have to warn you with this energy. You will have to pay for it later if you really overindulge. Like if you are overdoing the sweet foods, the salty foods, the fatty foods, you're oversleeping, you're postponing your assignments or whatever duties and tasks that you need to do, and they're just piling up, or you're over partying, you're over socializing and really neglecting the things that matter, the circumstances are really, really going to rain on your parade when this energy is over. Okay, so I'm not saying don't indulge, I'm just saying don't overdo it. All right. So, if it's not that which manifests for you, then you might be one of the Capricorns who finds yourself clashing with your loved ones over responsibilities during this, Aries square to your sign. All right, you're clashing over who's responsible for what, who's not doing their part, who's not meeting expectations, or who's not doing the tasks that have been assigned to them, and how that's affecting you, or that's affecting the dynamic of everyone who is involved in completing certain tasks or in getting certain things done and completed in a particular way by a particular time frame. And if those clashes are not happening with your loved ones, then it could definitely manifest in your work life and the people that you work with. Now, if you happen to work with your family, then yeah, this could be a very tense time within that relationship or that work dynamic. All right. There is also a likelihood, Capricorn, that you may have ego clashes with authority figures. So if there is someone above you who gives you orders, like if you have a boss, if you don't work for yourself, or at the very least, if you're not in charge of something where you work and there's a superior, this could be a time where you're clashing with them. You guys are just not agreeing on, what the order of business needs to be. Yes, potentially you could be clashing with your parents, for those of you that are having interactions with parents. And also, I'm getting a sense that there could be a clash with the law. All right. So please, Capricorn, do not get in trouble with the law, especially around this energy. You're not going to win that fight. Okay. Right now. Right now, while Venus and the Sun are squaring your sign, you're not going to win that fight. So it's better to just, if people who are in law enforcement seem to be picking on you or coming for you for whatever reason, kind of, hear them out. Try to be diplomatic in the way that you handle that situation. Things will just kind of work themselves out if you don't cause too much of a ruckus right now. But if you decide to fight back very intensely, very forcefully, and you try to exert your power, your influence, or whatever it is, it could actually backfire and come back to bite you. All right. So be diplomatic around this time. Should you have, things going on with the law where you are on the wrong side of it, seek peace. That's what I would say. Seek peace. Do not try to show off your influence or your power. Not right now. This is just not the energy for you to do that. Okay. And then some of you may have your willpower being tested around this time. There could be some stressful or frustrating situations that are manifesting and that need you to work harder than usual. So you'll really need to dig deep to push yourself to keep going around this time, Capricorn. Okay. And by the way, if you want to know the actual time frame of how long Venus and the sun are going to be in Aries, as well as the other planets, how long they'll be in the different signs, I am going to put those time frames within the comment section. All right, not the description, the comment section, so you can check those dates there. Anyway, yeah, I feel like, these challenging circumstances that are popping up for you right now are kind of nudging you to reevaluate some things about yourself and your life's trajectory. All right, like you really need to ask yourself, Capricorn, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? These things that you're investing a lot of your time in, a lot of your effort, resources, all this work that you're doing, like, what are you doing? You know, is it really you? Is it who you want to become, or are you doing it from a place of survival? Are you doing it to prove a point to somebody? Are you doing it, from an ego centered place, or are you genuinely doing a thing because it matters to you, it's meaningful to you, and it's going to benefit not only you, but other people's lives that it impacts, that it affects, and that it reaches? Okay, really sit with that for a while and see what comes up. All right, see what comes up for you. How do you feel when you ask yourself that question or those questions? Perhaps you'll find that you're pushing yourself really, really hard for something that isn't for your greater good or anyone else's. Okay, but anyway, that's your prerogative, and whatever answers come up for you will come up for you, and you will move accordingly. All right, I think that's that on the challenges, okay? So let's move right along and get into your potential opportunities within this time frame. So right away on the 1st of January, we have Mercury entering your sign, Capricorn, which will form a conjunction aspect to your sun or ascendant at some point in time while it's transiting your sign. So this energy can benefit you in the realm of expressing your ideas and opinions successfully. All right, it's a great energy for negotiations, networking, and knocking out a pile of errands, tasks, duties, responsibilities. So use this energy wisely and to your benefit, Capricorn. Like, Mercury is a very productive planet. It's a planet that is constantly on the move, So in your sign, if you have any personal goals that you want to get started on, or that you want to complete, or you want to level up with any task, now is the time to do it. Like, your mind especially, I feel like, is going to be functioning optimally, more especially if you have Mercury in Capricorn as well. I feel like you're going to love this energy. And if I'm not mistaken, Mars should also be in Capricorn around this time, early January, all right, which is fantastic because Mars loves the sign of Capricorn. So I would say, you may not be on vacation, like going from December into January mentally, and in terms of your goals, your aspirations, and the things that you want to achieve. Like, I feel like you're there already. Like, while other people are, ho-ho-hoing and celebrating and spending money on turning up and, having a lot of fun, you're still pushing the grind. That's the vibe that I'm getting, because I know Mars entered the sign of Capricorn in December. All right, so I feel like you've constantly been thinking about pushing yourself forward, getting work done, like almost as if having fun is a bit of a waste of resources or a waste of your time. Not to say, you can't let loose, Capricorn, but I wouldn't blame you, especially with the planets being in your sign. I feel like it is a productive energy, and it would be a waste to let them go to waste. So if I trust anyone to use Mars and Mercury in Capricorn wisely, I feel like that would definitely be you. Okay. Then, as we get into about halfway into the month of January, there will be a Capricorn new moon on the 18th, which can bring about fresh starts and new beginnings. All right, you're either starting a new project around this time, maybe you're dating someone new if you happen to be single, or maybe it's a new job, a new contract could be signed around this time, perhaps. With Mercury, you were negotiating certain terms and conditions, and by the time the new moon comes, maybe you're signing on, all right, to contract yourself, your services, your business, whichever one it is. Some of you could be moving into a new home around this time. Like, it really depends on your chart. It really depends on the rest of your astrology and how these aspects are hitting your natal houses, all right? So remember what I said with the new moon and full moon, give or take a week to see the events play out, allow the events to play out. And if you want to know if you're one of the chosen ones by this full moon, check your chart to see if you have any planets or angles at or around 28 degrees of Capricorn in particular. But the other signs that you can also look at are Taurus and Virgo, as well as Pisces and Scorpio. Then moving right along into the month of February, you'll have Mercury, Venus, and the Sun all entering and moving through the sign of Pisces. Remember, the dates will be in the comment section. So while these three planets are in the sign of Pisces, they're all going to be forming a sextile aspect to your sign. This means opportunities galore. So it is important to note that Mercury doesn't necessarily love to be in the sign of Pisces, but because it's a positive aspect to the sign of Capricorn, you are more likely to benefit from it either way, okay? So how to use the Mercury in Pisces energy effectively? You want to be the listener, all right? And you want to be more passive and receptive. So you know how when Mercury was in Capricorn, you were the one leading the conversations. You're the one leading the negotiations, expressing your ideas and bringing yourself and your perspectives to other people, right? You are the one approaching. Now, Mercury in Pisces, allow yourself to be approached, okay? And also talk less and listen more. Allow others to share their ideas with you, share their perceptions and perspectives with you. I feel like it's going to gain you more favor in terms of relationship with these people that you are either working with or even personal relationships, but I feel like more so professionally, okay? But yeah, it will gain you favor, right, with these people that, oh, even though you're a leader who is also receptive. You're not the kind of leader that kind of buries your head in the sand and you only hear your own voice. Okay, maybe not buries your head in the sand, but having your head up your own, peach, and you only hear your own voice. When other people get to see that you're receptive, that you listen, that you take them into consideration, they're going to favor you. And this can give you more access to other opportunities as well. Like, you may easily be considered for other opportunities, especially leadership opportunities. Like, when people can see that you can lead them, they will elect you to lead them. Like, they will put you in a leadership position. You won't have to fight for it. All right. So yeah, I think I muddied it up a little bit, but that's the essential point that I was trying to get to. All right. So use the Mercury and Pisces energy effectively. Be a little bit more passive and receptive. And then for those of you who have a creative streak, your imagination will get a huge boost from this energy. So go ahead and write those lyrics if you're into music, write the poetry, write the script if you're into storytelling. Like, really let your creative juices flow. That's what the Pisces energy is really good at, okay? And then with Venus being in Pisces, she loves it there, all right? She's exalted in the sign of Pisces, which again shines a beautiful light on your creative side. And your relationships will also love this energy because it enhances your empathy and your compassion, all right? And other people as well. If it's not you who's extending this romantic, lovey-dovey, yet considerate, compassionate energy, you could find that around this time, other people are extending this energy towards you. You know, people are kinder to you, people are more compassionate and willing to hear you out. And another beautiful thing about this Pisces energy for you, Capricorn, is that your wallet is going to love this energy. All right. You could find that there is money or resources just appearing from places you least expected, or things that you thought, you know, were dead and gone, buried. But all of a sudden, these things start bearing fruit. There seems to be pleasant surprises coming your way through this Pisces energy. So do enjoy that. But I must say that you can also pay a little generosity forward around this time, because receiving and giving go together, and it increases your abundance as well. So do, you know, show your compassionate side as well, so that your blessings can continue to be attracted to you and find you. But yeah, all in all, Capricorn, there's this glow about you during this time while all this Pisces energy is active. I feel like even when Mercury goes retrograde in Pisces, you're still going to have this mysterious, magnetic glow about you that other people can't quite put their fingers on, right? They don't really know what's going on with you, but you're just really shining in a subtle way, right? Without having to be loud, which is really, really beautiful. So, this is a time when ideas are flowing, your charm is charming, the opportunities are finding you, and it feels quite like a magical time for you. And I feel like that's what your glow might be connected to, right? Everything seems to kind of fall into place without too much effort from you, because you've been putting the effort in previously. Okay, let's not make it seem like it's coming out of nowhere, but it's almost as if there is this support, this alignment from the universe that you're getting, and things just seem to fall into place. And so the good vibes can continue a little while longer, because Mars is also going to join the band of planets in the sign of Pisces, but Mars will only enter Pisces in March, okay? And Mars in Pisces, once again, it benefits your creative endeavors, the creative side, the more passive and receptive side of you. This is not a, you know, grind hard, pedal to the metal energy. This is still a very slow and synchronous flow. All right, you're kind of still going with the flow of life and allowing yourself to be led accordingly just before ish hits the fan with the Aries energy. Okay. And you're also more likely to be interested in taking meaningful actions while Mars is in Pisces, all right? Putting more effort into meaningful relationships and goals will fare well for you if you do that around this time. And if you are a praying, faith-based Capricorn, use this time to pray. Definitely plant those seeds spiritually, emotionally, mentally. And then when Mars enters Aries, you'll kind of be ready to put the physical work in. All right. And you'll just watch the magic unfold thereafter. But like I said in the previous, with your challenges, that the Aries energy wants you to just do your part. Don't try to do your job and somebody else's, you know, because there will be conflict. But anyway, we're still talking about positive, opportunistic energy right now. I don't want Aries to steal the Pisces shine, all right? Because Aries can do that. Aries will bulldoze anything. But anyways, around halfway into the month of March, particularly on the 19th, You'll benefit from a new moon in the sign of Pisces. Okay, so once again, sextile aspect, which means opportunities may be finding you in inexplicable and mysterious ways. But also, I do get the sense that there could be some much needed endings that are also manifesting around this time. Remember, the new moon is the dark side of the moon, it's what we cannot see. And also, it can represent the things that we are leaving behind before we start our new phase, our new cycle, our new journey. All right. So for some of you, depending on which Capricorn you are, this could be a time of significant endings, but the endings are good. All right. This is not an ending that's going to leave you shattered. These are endings that are for your growth and for your progression. And with that, we have reached the end of your horoscope, my classy Capricorn. That is the most significant astrology that I see coming your way within these 3 months. Thank you so much for listening. You are more than welcome to download or save this audio so you can come back to it later if need be. On my end, I would appreciate a like or a comment if you found any of this information helpful. And if you would like to reach out to me personally, my contact methods are listed in the description below. For now, stay classy, and I will catch up with you in 3 months' time.